to go out again.
Damn. Where do you need to go, Ricky?
Busy man. You know how it is, boys.
How busy are you?
Not really. I'm not that busy. I just want to go out because the weather's actually nice for once.
Damn.
So how are we doing this?
Beautiful summer's day. The breeze
Have we
is
started?
We have started.
stupendous. Oh, we've started. Okay.
Uh, Beautiful summer's day, and you know what happened in summer?
Mm-hmm.
The transfer window opens.
Mm.
Do, do, do.
And you know what's happening on the Sixth League podcast?
Mm-mm.
A brand new
What's happening?
series is on the horizon
Mm.
called
Multiple
Transfer
series.
Talk.
Not Tuesday, but Wednesday. That's how we roll
it
here,
will,
baby.
it will, like, okay, so it will be Tuesday Transfer Talk, and I'll make it happen because TTT, Triple T, Triple
Nothing
H's
wrong with it.
cousin.
Nothing wrong with having a W in there. Gotta get that W in one way or another.
That's true.
TTW.
So, good evening, everybody, and welcome to this brand new series called Transfer Talk. Tuesday or Wednesday,
We decided.
It's Champions League. Fixtures change, and
Oh,
it will
beautiful.
be right here on the Six League podcast. And I am joined by my lovely friends, charming duo of
Oh,
one
yes.
Umar Amin and one Riki Al Bukhari.
Oh, yes, sir.
And we are going to discuss all the transfer talk that happens in the world of football. Managers, players, linesmen. Oh, wait, no, they don't transfer. Kitmen,
Coaching staff,
coaching staff,
medics, you know.
medics,
Sanitas.
sanitas, everything.
Oh,
Given the amount
God.
of injuries, we probably need to, we need transfers at
Yeah,
Madrid,
Madrid's
but
Madrid's medic team has been sus for a while. Let's face it now.
only the
And
63 injuries.
and on the other hand, you have Pep's doctors, on the other side of the
Mm.
Pep's
just
doctors.
oh,
Well,
wow. Do you guys remember that scandal with Nasri and those doctors?
drip
Drip
doctors,
doctors?
drip
Yeah.
doctors. And then his account got hacked.
Oh,
Oh my
beautiful.
god.
I miss that guy. He was a baller, man.
I mean, where did he go? He was around, right? He was at Sevilla for a while, and then I don't
And
know
then
where
he,
he went.
and then I think he moved to Turkey or something. I don't know where he
Turkey.
is now, though.
Well, to our viewers, let us know where Samira Nasri is right now, because we
Please, by all
obviously
means.
can't be bothered to Google.
I mean, Nasri. If I'm sure he has zero regrets in his careers, like extremely, how did you say it? Gifted footballer.
Well, he needed. Well, he won what would have been more than enough to deem a successful career. Winning the Premier League is
Mm, mm.
it's a good
He was in
achievement.
Pellegrini's team, right? Or was it
Yeah.
Mancini's?
Mancini's, and
Um,
then he stayed long enough to be in Pellegrini's.
I
I'm
think
Mm.
both.
assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
Both.
All right, that's fair then. That's fair. We
Fair
leave
enough.
Arsenal and you win trophies. That's the cycle.
That's
Well,
the.
that's a given.
Oh God.
So, guys,
So, mm,
recently, this transfer window, something different, something unique. The talk of the town has been the coaches so far. Conte, Zidane, Ancelloti, Pochettino, Allegri, big names there. And
Eddie Howe, Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard. Let's throw them in there as well. Big names.
Roy Hodgkinson taking a sabbatical as well.
Mm.
oh God, beautiful.
What what are your thoughts, guys? Let's go one by one. Conte
Sure.
leaving Inter after a successful season.
I mean, Conte. So I read this thing, right, where it said that Inter have a lot of debt, and they still owe United the money for the Lukaku fee. That's what I've heard. And on top of that, they need to make 70 million in sales to actually cover up and financially be still be able to stay in La Liga basically, because if they can't keep up with those finances, they're gonna get
Yeah.
relegated or whatever
To
penalty they're gonna
Serie
face.
B.
Yeah, and Conte obviously has had falling out at Chelsea. I know over transfers, he's had falling out like everywhere. So that's not a surprise, I think.
After winning the title, though.
After winning the title, I mean, it's
Wasn't
not just
that
about.
wasn't that him having a fallout with the board or something though, or is that just me under the idea that that's what happens wherever he goes?
No, I think that is what happens wherever he goes, isn't it? I know it
But
happened at Chelsea.
hmm.
Remember when he tried to sign what's his name, Alexandro for 4 windows in a row, and then ended up with Emerson Palmieri,
Who's a Champions League winner now, by the way.
who's a
So
Champions
Who
League
scored a
winner,
vital
respect.
goal against Atletico Madrid as well, if you
Yeah.
remember. He finished the game off.
Mm.
Oh,
and he's
very
going to
well
be a
taken goal.
starter for Italy in the Euros. So I'm just saying,
I thought it was Brazilian. I didn't even know it was Italian. I'm not even joking.
I think he
I,
might be Brazilian Italian, like
he's,
no,
Jorginho.
he's, he's,
he's just like
he's
Jorginho,
Jorginho,
Like
yeah.
Jorginho is like both. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
yeah.
Well,
Um,
so, speaking of Inter, right? They even owe Madrid the money of Hakimi as well.
Yeah.
So that's probably the reason why the fallout started, right?
Hmm.
Probably one of the reasons why Conte was like, "Hey guys, what are you doing? Like, I mean, I just won you the Serie A, and we can't sign a player, we can't do
We
anything.
can't keep our
I
players,
mean,
maybe. Yeah.
sure, I won the league title with Ashley Young, but like, come on, miracles only happen a certain number of times."
Exactly.
just think about all the United rejects he signed, right? Alexis, Darmian, Ashley Young. I mean, Lukaku was a starter, so let's not.
He's not a
Yeah.
reject, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
But the
yeah,
other
yeah.
three, and then you've got Ericsson,
The-
who was pretty much rejected
Whoa.
at Tottenham. You've
Whoa.
got who
What's
else?
happening, boys?
Hakimi, who couldn't fight for his spot in Madrid. I
Lads?
mean, what's going on over here? And he won a league title with these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, where do you think, where is Conte going next?
I genuinely have no idea. I was under the impression that maybe United could have a go, but with the rumors of Ole receiving a 3-year contract extension after that absolute disaster of a Europa League final, that takes him out of the equation. And now that Juventus seemingly have signed Allegri as well, and now
Yeah.
Real Madrid also they got Ancelloti back. I don't see anywhere that he could go. Every other team seems to be settled. I don't
But
see.
Ricky, Ole has the gene. He gets United.
There we go. It's that same. Listen, I'm not Ole out. I'm Ole doubt. You see,
Wow.
that's
I'm not Ole
that's
out, I'm Ole doubt.
We've
Put
got
that
our
on a
video title.
newspaper.
We've got our
sorry.
video title, by the way, right there.
The
I'm
the
not
pro-
Ole out. I'm Ole out.
the thing is, right? The problem with him is that it's very difficult to sack him if you're getting into these Champions League positions and if you're getting into a final. The problem is he's not someone to get us over the line.
Hmm.
And not only that, the biggest problem is everybody seemingly enjoys playing under him. I've mentioned this countless times. So what happens if he leaves? There's going to be a rift, maybe let's say Conte comes in, talented, great manager, but very volatile.
For sure.
He'll get you success for maybe 1 or 2 seasons, but after that, he's the antithesis of Mourinho in a way, if that makes sense.
I
So
don't know if you
yeah,
remember this interview he did with Thierry Henry, where he was
yeah.
like, if I have a man and,
I
I will
remember.
kill him, but will
Yeah,
not be
yeah, yeah,
disrespected,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Henry loses it.
He's hardcore, man. He's
And he was
hard.
being dead serious. He was like, I
I
will kill
know.
him.
Yeah.
Like, dude,
Thierry
you.
Henry's sitting there laughing, and Conte's just looking at him like, "What did I say? That's so
He was like,
What's
Henry,
so
you're
funny?
next.
My man's literally looking at him dead in the eye. I will kill him. I'm like, oh, this guy's hard, man. But
So,
great manager though, yeah.
yeah, great manager, and a club that has the manager spot vacant and has been linked with Conte is currently Tottenham Hotspurs.
Mm.
All over the media,
That's
Spurs
not
are in for a manager, especially since they haven't been able to convince Pochettino to leave Pochettino is not leaving PSG for obvious reasons, and PSG don't want to sack him either. So that's not happening. Pochettino is not going back, regardless what the Sun, the Mirror, and all these UK tabloids want to say, because obviously they want to appease their British fan base. But here at the Six League Podcast, we are totally unbiased until it comes to our teams.
You know, you know, I just want to know how that conversation is gonna go between Levy and Pochettino. Hey, I sacked you like a year ago. I got Mourinho because I thought he's better, and now you're doing good, and we've sacked him, and you're playing with Mbappe and Neymar. But hey, we've got Eric Lamela and Lucas Moura, so please come back to
That's
us.
the thing. It's not even an attractive proposition.
For
Spurs are
sure.
really well and truly in the mud. It's not like where it was the scenario with Ancelloti where he had one unsuccessful season and he left. And the thing with Real Madrid is that it's Real Madrid. There's always the attraction.
Yeah.
It's arguably the biggest club in the world. Whereas Spurs, what attraction is there besides maybe their
It's a
stadium
backwards.
that
No, it's a
it's a
backwards step.
backwards.
I
It's
mean,
it's exactly. There's
yeah.
no point of going there. Like all of this talk of Brendan Rodgers going there as well. Why would he do that? At least his team are making the Europa League.
Mm.
Why would he go
Um,
go backwards with the Conference League? It's a dead end.
the first time Pochettino came to Tottenham, basically, he came from Southampton, who were like a much
Exactly.
lower team,
Yeah.
and he proved himself there. He assembled a good squad. So Tottenham at that time was a step up.
Exactly.
Now going from PSG, you there's Real Madrid's and your Barcelonas, your Uniteds and your Cities and Liverpools. You don't go back to Tottenham from there. Like, let's be honest,
Exactly.
you don't go
Yeah.
back
Not
to Tottenham.
not to mention with PSG, there's always the proposition of it being their league, league on Uber Eats. It's basically their league.
It is what it's called. It is what it's
That's what
called.
it's called. I have
No
to pay
disrespect.
no disrespect.
Hey, Six League Podcast Uber Eats, we would not mind. Hit us
Oh,
up.
six league podcast Talabat. That's where we're heading, lads.
We're
No,
good with
but
that. We're all good with that. Sponsorship. Contact us.
no, but like that's the thing. And Pochettino, he's starving for trophies, man. As soon as he
Yeah.
left Spurs, he already won a cup trophy, and I don't know how responsible he is for them not winning the league on, considering that he joined the mixed halfway through the season. But the league on Uber Eats is literally their league to win,
Hmm.
and why would he sacrifice that to go struggle in the Premier League when he has a side capable of winning the Champions League and PSG as
Yeah.
well? So
Especially
it's
when you
literally a
consider that
no-brainer.
like Lille are gonna be picked apart, just like how Monaco
Exactly.
were. They're
Yeah.
not gonna have the same strength to come back next year.
Exactly. Exactly.
But we spoke about a backward step, right? Conte going from Inter to potentially Spurs, isn't that like also a backward step?
What do you say, Umar? You go first. I'll have my say afterwards.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a backward step in the sense that obviously you're going from title winners to Conference League and all, sure, but there's always the attraction for these guys to just live in London. We've seen
Hmm.
this so many
That's
times,
true.
That's
and the
true.
Yeah.
lifestyle there. I know that when he went from Chelsea, I think his wife and his daughter remained in London.
Mm.
Mm.
So for him, maybe personally,
Personal
that might,
choice.
yeah, that
Mm.
might not be a bad choice. In terms of managerial career, obviously it's a step down, I think. But I would be worried. I wanted Conte to go to like a big team because he'd be successful with them. But after 2-3 years, he'd completely destroy that squad. With Tottenham, the issue is they're a bottling team. We all know this. He goes there. Sure, he might destroy their team or whatnot, but he's going to win titles. And Tottenham aren't the team I want to see winning titles. So that scares
I,
the
I,
living
I
daylights out of me.
I agree to a certain degree. Yeah, I actually think that he'll find a way to make the most out of the players he'd have at his disposal there. It's just the argument of what happens with Kane. Obviously, you know, it's there's been noise being made of him leaving, and if you can't keep your best player, what's the point of Conte? Not even Conte, let alone any manager of going there. They're
Yeah.
kind of hopeless without him. I mean, let's face it. So it'd be interesting.
They will get a lot
It'd
of
be
money for
interesting
him, regardless,
for
though.
sure.
So
Yeah.
we'll get to Kane later.
Mm.
Um, yeah, just wanted to.
Just I just
Sorry,
want to
go
add
on,
one
Umar.
more point. Yeah, you're saying they're gonna get a lot of money for him. Sure, they got a
Mm.
lot of money for Bale. They ended up with Paulinho, with Ben Davies, with Lamella. Who else?
Oh,
Yeah, you see, I'm laughing, but then I realized we did the same thing with Cristiano, so I'm laughing in tears right now. Replaced
that
him
is
with
very
Michael
true.
Owen and Antonio Valencia. Oh my God, I'm crying, man. But you're
Um,
right, that is
I wanted
absolutely
to make
true.
another point on Conte, but now it's escaped my mind. So there's that. Ooh, it's back. What about the attention that Conte gets? He won the Serie A, right?
Mm,
And there's, let's be fair, there's like bare mention of him. No one on the footballing stage. Let's be honest. The most attention and the most glamour is in Premier League. It's like the Hollywood of like football,
absolutely,
right? If
absolutely.
you want to be a star, regardless even if you're an average player, right? You go to Premier League, you become above average, you get the limelight, you get the
That's the place you
attention.
make your name. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
marketed so well. Yeah.
So even if you're for Spurs, even if you go to Spurs, perhaps not the most successful, not the biggest, it just feels like, you know, he'll be back in the limelight, and
Yeah,
there's
that's true.
it's like a stepping stone to go up again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, he is one of those managers who actually does thrive with all the attention on him. Remember when he said Mourinho has senile dementia? I mean, just right there, you know. Um,
Oh, brilliant.
honestly, his press conferences were very special, especially in his first season at Chelsea. They were very funny to watch
Yeah,
always.
he's brilliant. Yeah, exactly.
Uh, um, no, it'd be very interesting to see him in the Premier League. And you know what? Now that we think about it, I think Conte to Tottenham might not be a bad fit. You know, we've seen him overachieve with like average or slightly above or below average players. And for Tottenham, Conte is right. But for Conte, is Tottenham right for him? You get me?
That's
Ooh.
true.
Well, I
Ooh.
think that's a question. We can take an analogy from like how Mourinho's time went there and everything. Uh, you reckon like Chelsea didn't give him Alexander? Who's Tottenham gonna give him? You know. Uh,
and, and just to add, like, it's in the Premier League. It's just nice to have a number of elite managers within that
yeah.
league. With the departure of Ancelotti to bring back
Mm,
Conte, it would be nice.
that's
And
true.
he's a character as well, like you mentioned in the press conferences. So it's just to add more entertainment, and that's what the Premier League is, man. It's just endless entertainment at the end of the day. That's what makes it so appealing to viewers that don't even watch it. They don't even have a team to support there. So
Yeah,
you'll have another
for sure.
excuse to watch Tottenham because we'll be interested to see how his team will be set up. Because I do think that there are players there that fit the system or style he wants to play. But whether
Mm.
the players can be up to the challenge is a different question altogether. Because, like we mentioned, man, these guys are bottlers, bro. They're crap. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I swear, man.
Um,
I don't say that lightly, by the way. They're ass, man.
I did
no,
not
no,
hear
they
any
are.
objection.
Um, no, see, the thing is, you talked about the managers playing all together, right? 10 years ago, all eyes were on La Liga because you had at the time the two
Exactly.
hottest properties, Guardiola and Mourinho, both
Woo!
at Barca and Madrid,
Those games were
and those
Absolutely.
insane.
were those were the days, man. Those were the
Amazing.
days.
It was like a season
Amazing.
And
finale every single match.
yeah,
Bro, Rumble in the Jungle. That's what it was, man. Every single El Clasico, I was hooked, injected into my veins, baby.
remember
That's
the
what it was.
5-0?
Yeah,
Woo!
I remember it very well. Still, still comes into my nightmare sometimes.
Woo! Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful game.
Um,
And then you think of that iconic 2-1 victory at Camp Nou, the Calma
come,
Calma. Iconic, man. Iconic games. That's
just
more
like
of what we
even in
want
the
to see.
preseason games, there was those were insane as
Woo!
well. In our conversation, something just like popped into my mind. Everton are also vacant of a manager.
I was thinking of that.
Now
Yeah.
Liverpool isn't the best place. A lot of players have just preferred London over Liverpool. For
Hmm.
example, Alexis Sanchez. Um, what do you guys reckon? How likely would it be for Conte to take up the prospect of Everton? Because right now they have a similar squad quality, if, especially if Kane leaves. Everton are more willing to invest.
You could argue Everton are in a better position if Kane leaves, you know?
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
they
And
actually have a proper striker. Yeah.
yeah. So what do you reckon about that link?
I don't see why not. Because if I honestly, the way I see it, if Ancelotti can go to Everton, why the hell can't go Conte go there? And knowing Conte, he'll make something tick and he'll make something work. Obviously, we're not expecting him to win the league, but maybe they'll win just a major trophy, an FA Cup or the Carling Cup, which would be massive for Everton, by the way. I can
Yeah.
see it. That was on the back of my mind as well. That was at the back
Mm.
of my mind as well. I can see it happening, and why not? It'd be
Yeah.
interesting.
Honestly, the way this Everton team has set up, and especially in the last few months, Ancelotti started with a back four, and now he's moved to a back three, and that is the Conte style. And
Yep.
with
Conte
Conte, you
play.
have instant success. You
Yep.
know, you
Exactly.
have what's his name, Digne, and I think Coleman on the left and right. Just running up and down and up and down. Like especially Coleman, that guy has a ridiculous work rate. I'm
Mm.
sure like that would be Conte's dream. And I honestly didn't think about it because generally Everton are linked with other names such as Lampard and surprisingly Gerrard. But now that I come to think of it, Conte might sound like a better fit for Everton than he does for Tottenham.
Yeah. He's a quicker solution as well. He tends to get success straight off the bat. It might not even be a trophy, but it might even be Champions League or Europa League places.
That'd be
He'll
big for
most
Everton,
likely
yeah.
get that would be huge,
Mm.
astronomical. So we'll see.
Well, we've spent a fair bit amount of Conte and Antonio. Let us know where you're going. But let's move on to one of Conte's former teams. Allegri, a vacant manager for like a past year or so, now has joined up with his former team, Juve. What do you guys reckon? What's happening at Juve? What's your take on that?
Honestly, I have no idea what's going on there. You sack Allegri to go get Sarri, to
Wait a
then
minute,
go
wait a
to
minute.
Pirlo.
Sorry, Umar. They sacked him? I genuinely didn't know that. I thought it was mutual consent. I have no idea. They actually sacked him.
I think they was sacking. I'm not sure yet. I honestly will have to
Okay.
search this up.
Wow. Okay, go on. Yeah.
But even for mutual consent, a lot of the
Mm.
times you hear like Mourinho's first and
Mutual
second
consent.
departure at Chelsea were mutual consent. We
Mutual
all know what
consent,
happened.
right.
Um,
Beautiful.
Generally, these things are sacking, so I was just assuming that. I might be wrong. I'm sorry, but they moved on from him to go to Sarri because they wanted to progress as a more attacking team. They didn't think they were attacking enough under Allegri. They kept him for a year. It wasn't working out, probably rightfully so. So they got rid of him, and then they signed Pirlo. And well, what's going on,
It's like
Pirlo? You
what?
barely finished fourth.
It's like one step back, followed by another, just as they were about to fall off the ledge. The ledge being
Mm,
top four.
Oh.
mm.
I just googled it up pretty quickly, and yes, I can confirm it was mutual consent. Um, However, I think after the sacking of Sarri, they had reached out to Allegri again before hiring Pirlo. And at that time, Allegri said no because he was going through personal strifes in his life. And he also said no to Madrid at that same time. However, he's back now. Funnily enough, just going back to Allegri's record with Juve, right? 2015 Champions League final, 2017 Champions League
Champions League
final,
final again.
numerous titles. Even before that, numerous titles with Milan, a depleted Milan as well. Um, you reckon they're preparing life for after Cristiano Ronaldo? Since when he managed, they were playing a set style without quote unquote a star player.
I mean, the way I see it, they should have thought of that from the beginning. The only reason why they wanted to sign Cristiano Ronaldo is obviously, I mean, let's face it, why else would you sign someone of that caliber? It's to win the Champions League, right? And if those aims were never going to be achieved, then you'd need to look at a plan B, life after Cristiano Ronaldo. And the fact of the matter is, I do think they have played some games really well without him playing. I think the final game of the season, I think they played against Bologna or Cagliari. I don't know
It
these
was
Serie
like
A
a
teams,
12th to
man.
13th side mid-table
Yeah,
team.
you're right. You're right. But I do think there is a future for them without Cristiano Ronaldo. Juventus will always be an attractive proposition, regardless of who you are. I mean, if they could get in the league, they can probably get anybody else. So there's life. There's life for after Cristiano Ronaldo, man. So yeah, I don't see them struggling anytime soon. And now with Allegri back and Conte leaving Serie A, I think normal service is going to resume Serie A. It's going to be that boring era of domination for Juventus again. I can't see any other team getting close because the squad quality, like I just feel as though Juve are somewhat clear, maybe, but I could be wrong. So
It's an
yeah,
aging squad.
it's an aging squad. Yeah.
They haven't really made major replacements. I think signing Ronaldo for the fee that they signed him for 100 million and
Mm,
whatnot.
yeah.
Uh, they got Chiellini and Buffon still playing for them. Uh,
Chiellini, man.
I
Buffon's
mean
gonna win the
Buffon.
Champions League next year.
Buffon too.
I think Buffon is leaving, has left
Oh,
at the end
okay.
of last season. But Chiellini, he's still there and he's extended his contract along with Delete. So those guys are still gonna be around.
Stop it, old man. Stop it. Do something else with your life. You're ancient, bro. You get me? You're not gonna win the Champions League. Just stop it. There's no point.
But neither are Tottenham. You know why?
Why?
Because it is the history of Tottenham.
I'll give him credit for that, though. I'll give him credit for that.
Probably his
Yeah.
major contribution to football.
Oh, I love that. I love that. No, but even then, you're right with all those things that you've mentioned. Honestly, I have no idea. I honestly have no idea where Juventus go from here. But like I said, with Allegri coming back, I do think that he's capable of steering the ship in the right direction, which can only lead to more boredom. The boredom of Juventus probably just, maintaining that era of dominance once again in the Serie A. This season will just definitely be a blip, and then normal service will be resumed.
Mhm.
So yeah, we'll
And
see, man.
and let's just look at the facts. 2015 and 2016 under Allegri, two Champions League finals.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate he came up against that
A-
Barcelona and
And
that
that
Real
Real
Madrid.
Madrid team,
Yeah.
like, bro, come on now.
And both were actually pretty close matches. The scorelines don't show it.
Mm.
But
Mm,
I remember the 2015 final especially was very close.
The
yeah.
Barcelona one,
Alvaro
right?
Morata had a legit penalty claim at like
Mm,
1-1
yeah.
that could have changed things a lot. And Barcelona only scored the last two goals on counterattacks when they
Mm,
were chasing the game. So it's like a completely different scenario, especially in 2017 as well. 1-1 at halftime, right? They were they were en route to success, but
Casemiro rocket,
off a deflection too. So you those are some things that you just think about and you're like, how can you put that down to the coach or the manager, right? Those things
Exactly.
are very fortunate and unfortunate for Juve.
And if you think about it, right now in like at that time, Real Madrid and Barcelona were like, the
They were
pinnacle of
elite.
football,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Right now, there's no team like that. We
exactly.
thought City could be, but then they bottled the Champions League final.
Yeah,
Chelsea were always the underdogs. They're not like they're good, they're very good, but they're not at that level. Barcelona, Real Madrid, obviously going through tough periods as well. Bayern Munich as well. After that first season with Flick, now this season they weren't that special. Um,
next
you
season
know,
without him.
next
Next
season
season
without
without
him.
him, but they'll
Um,
have the RB Leipzig manager now, right?
yeah,
Nagelsmann. So that'll be
Nagelsmann.
interesting.
But
Um,
Nagelsmann's a different coach compared to Flick, right? So
Hansi
he's
Flick,
gonna
yeah.
come in, he's gonna take some time, reassess the squad, work with them. What Flick achieved was amazing, winning all the trophies in his like half season or whatever. But that success is gonna be difficult to replicate.
Obviously, of course, yeah.
Especially now Bayern's core is aging.
Yeah.
And we thought that they got past Boateng, Muller, but no, these guys like keep coming back time and time again and keep cementing their place in the starting 11. and now the likes of Alaba have left them too.
Yeah, Boateng
So
also has left. Javier Martinez has also left. It'll
so
be a
it's
matter of time before the others also leave. Yeah,
yeah,
Lewandowski
and
is not getting younger as well, so
definitely, and he's been linked to like transfer
yeah,
as well.
yeah,
So that's gonna
yeah.
be
New
a whole
challenge,
new
Yeah,
thing for him as well.
exactly. So it'll be interesting. So this might be the opportunity for Allegri to maybe just pounce and see what he can do in the Champions League, considering that his team made it like literally on the final day by like just struggling to get there. But do I see them winning it though? Nah, I'll be honest, I don't think so. I can't. I don't know what it is. I know they have Cristiano Ronaldo in their team. I know they have good players, but I just think they'll fall short. I could be wrong, but I wouldn't give them a chance. Even if they do have Allegri, I just think they'll fall short. And it's not even down to his coaching. It's just that the other teams, I just think they'll be back, especially when we're looking back at the Premier League. I think Liverpool will be back as well. And I think Chelsea will strengthen, you know. I pray something happens with United, but we never know. So yeah, we'll see.
Well, right now, as things stand, it looks like Zidane will be out of a job next season
Mm.
because he's not being linked to any teams and he's resigned from Real Madrid.
Do you see that letter?
I did. I read it once on
What do
my
you think?
phone and then once on my laptop just to make sure that I read it correctly. It was a bold letter. That is some harsh criticism. And for a team like Real Madrid, where the opposite happens, usually the board sacks the manager. And now Zidane's come
Mm.
first time, delivered success, and has left on his own terms. Comes back second time, arguably also delivers success. And, leaves again while highlighting the problems at the board. And, I think this just leaves such a stirrup for the fans, not because Florentino Perez and Real Madrid have an immense control over the Madrid Spanish media. So, especially over some journalists, you can tell they're already trying to blame things on Zidane or skate his name just because he spoke out. It's gonna be interesting where he ends up next. He was linked to Juve, but Allegri went there. Allegri was linked with Madrid, but he went to Juve. PSG's gonna stick with Pochettino. Everton have a vacancy. Tottenham have a vacancy. Does Zidane go to one of those teams?
Zinedine
Why?
Zidane
He
at
might.
Tottenham Hotspur. You heard it here first, boy.
It's or
I would be
or he's coming here
fuming
and
if that
managing Al
happens.
Khor FC. Which one is it gonna
Why
be?
not?
Because
Why not? I can see that happening. Why not? The thing
Personally,
is, though,
the way this transfer window is rolling out, I can see Zidane just taking a year off. To be
yeah, I could
honest,
taking
just
a
be
year off,
chilling. Yeah,
waiting for a
just
yeah.
manager to slip up and be sacked so he can be brought in
no, no, no. He's waiting for Ancelloti to mess up and then he'll come back through.
halfway through the season.
He'll be like, "I told you so."
uh,
Now I can, but he should just chill, man. I mean, like he's
he deserves a
overachieved.
rest.
Yeah, he's overachieved. Let's face it. I mean, nobody expected him to come in and to do what he did. You know, in successive seasons as well. He deserves a rest, man. He's overachieved. And whoever gets him next, I think, is very lucky because he's shown that he's not over reliant on particular players. He can be flexible. He can,
Yeah,
adapt to the situation. And
Or
that
even with
was,
a particular system. Sorry, Ricky, just adding on to you. Like we've
yeah,
seen him use a 4-2-3-1, a four three
exactly.
three, a 4-4-2, a narrow version of a 4-4-2. We've seen him use everything.
Flawlessly. Exactly. And he seems like, like it seems as though his man management is also on point. Obviously, you had that situation with Gareth Bale, but I think that's an anomaly. I think that was more down to Bale rather than Zidane. And whoever gets him next, I think is very lucky. It'll be interesting if he does go to a club besides Real Madrid, though. I just want to see what he would be capable of achieving somewhere else. Let his managerial wings grow.
It will be interesting indeed, and I for one am very bewildered. Like, where will he go? Because obviously, I'm a huge fan of him since his playing days, and I just don't know what's gonna happen with him. Interestingly enough, his replacement Ancelotti
Hmm.
quite easily for half the salary just pops up from Liverpool, obviously for Everton FC, all the way to Madrid, back there. Probably the best of the worst situation, in my
Yeah.
opinion. There
Yeah.
were links to Conte, but then again, his disruptiveness, his willingness to kill a player. You know, if you come with that kind of attitude to the Madrid dressing room, I do not
Hmm.
know how kindly that would be looked upon.
With the players they have and the egos they have, yikes! It'll be
I
a
mean,
landmine.
You
yeah,
know, I would have liked to see that if you go back
Same.
like 7 or 8 years ago when you still had Ramos, Pepe, Coentrao,
Woo!
you know. I want to see what happened.
that would have been pretty tough. But yeah,
Man. But just like you mentioned, though, I think Ancelotti was like the best possible solution. I don't think he was sacked because he had a rift. If anything, the players seem to have loved him.
oh yeah, they loved
He's
him.
a gentleman. He's a really nice guy, and he brought you guys the Decima. And if anything, he was really unlucky the season he did get sacked. You guys were on an insane winning streak, and then obviously things fall apart like they eventually will for every other team. So, this will be his chance for redemption and making things right again. So, and I hope things work out for him because I like the guy. He's a cool guy. He's a nice
Just
dude.
out of curiosity, where's Rafael Benitez? Because he replaced him, so
Oh,
I'm just like, alarm bells in my head. Where's Rafael Benitez?
where is
Rafael
he? That's a good. I
Benitez.
think he's out of a job. I
Let,
think
let
he's
me
out of
just
a
Google
job.
it. Everton needs a new manager.
But,
No. Speaking
yo.
of Everton, we were talking about Conte, but I think it's safe to rule that out because there are reports coming that the Wolves manager Nuno, who said that he's going to be leaving Wolves, obviously,
Mm.
towards the end of last season, he's apparently in advanced talks with the Everton board, and they seem to really like him. So I think
Everton.
it's safe. Everton,
He was he
yes.
I
was on
thought it
his way
was.
to Spurs.
Yeah, same. I thought he was leaving Spurs
Apparently
as well.
not. Apparently not. Sky Sports are
Wow.
reporting today that he's on his way to Everton.
Well, you heard it here
Interesting.
second after Sky Sports. Here at the 16th podcast that Nuno, 2004 Champions League winner under Jose Mourinho, is going to
That's.
Everton.
He was the goalkeeper, wasn't he?
He was the goalkeeper. Is he
Yet
taking
he looks
any of
old.
his comrades with him?
Sorry, just to add on to that, Antonio Conte is in advanced talks with Tottenham.
Oh,
But you heard that here first.
You
sugar.
heard that here first.
Oh, sugar. It's actually happening, isn't it? And
So
then,
it's happening. By the end of this
oh,
podcast, two managers would have signed Conte to
God.
Spurs and Nuno to Everton. There you go.
And once
Well, Zizou is going to be out of a job unless if he goes to Wolverhampton Wanderers.
and once again, United have missed an opportunity to get in a world-class manager just like that. I love
No,
it. It's so good.
I was seeing like these posts and stuff, and honestly, I completely agree. The case about Arsenal and United, right? Um, Chelsea hired a player who's a bigger club legend than Ole or Arteta for Everton. Never mind even Arsenal.
Yeah.
Um, and that was a guy who nobody thought would ever get sacked because of his ties with the club. They only took like 6 months into a bad season, and they sacked him, and they reached two cup finals and they reached top four after finishing ninth.
Yeah.
It's a ruthless approach, but it works. Here you see at Arsenal, trusting the process, and under Ole, trusting whatever the hell they're trusting.
Umar, they got two
And
FA Cups.
oh, they got two well, only one under Arteta, I believe, right? The other was under Emery.
No, no,
Um,
no. It was.
I
I don't think they
remember
won
now.
an FA Cup.
My memory is now clouded.
The
no, I
last
don't
time
think
they were.
Emery won anything. He won to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Europa
yeah.
League final, I believe.
And
Yeah,
he didn't win that thanks to
yeah.
you
He
guys.
lost that, yeah. So you just see how ruthless these
Yep,
clubs can be, and
just the one FA Cup. Yep.
With
just the
Arteta, yeah,
one FA
exactly.
Cup. A club can be ruthless, and it works out in the end. And clubs were,
You see,
starting to trust any processes are,
you see, I was walking back home from my friend's place after the Champions League final, right? He's a Chelsea fan, and I was just watching it with him. And the thought that was on my mind was, man, Abrahamovich, he's like that spoiled brat that just gets whatever he wants. And at the end of the day, he's the winner. You know what I mean? Like, he says, you know what, Frank Lampard, you're a club legend, but F you, get the hell out. I'm going to bring someone who
Yeah.
can do a job. Like, morality, when you're talking about the moral compass, what Frank Lampard did in steering the ship into top four, you know, like very quality stricken squad, not much like youth players, most of them. He did a great job in his first season. Granted, things weren't going well in his second spell, but you'd think like maybe he should be given time, right? We all thought he should still be given time, but then he gets Tuchel in, and Tuchel does a complete 180. Man, this Chelsea team look like they're gonna do
World
bits, not
beaters.
only this season. Yeah, exactly. So uh, say what you want about this method of sacking managers and bringing new ones in. One way or another, it works, man.
if Lampard was still at Arsenal or United, he would still have a job. Like, let's
Oh
just
yeah, for
face that.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad
Um,
reality.
Do you think always like performances at the end were sackable? The fact that he didn't win Europa League.
I wouldn't necessarily that would say that was sackable. But if you're a club with ambition, right? Let's say with Real Madrid. Okay, Real Madrid, like with Ancelotti, how far did they go with how in his second spell? How
Yeah.
far did he go with them in the Champions League? I think
Semifinals, they got knocked out by
semifinals.
Juve,
Exactly.
thanks to an Alvaro Morata goal in both legs.
But those were like very like dire circumstances.
It was
Those were
3-2.
freakish, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And just because of that alone, he got sacked. Whereas Ole, bro, when you're talking about circumstances, right? You're talking about the seventh place team in La Liga. Villarreal were missing their starting striker, and we had our strongest 11 on, and we couldn't find a way of breaking them down. If I was watching that as the owner, I'm like, yo, like the proof's in the pudding. Like, why are we not capable of breaking a team of this quality down? I'm pretty sure I can get someone else to do the job for me if you can't do it. This final should have been handed to you on a plate, and yet you didn't take that opportunity. So that's the way I see it. It's not a sackable offense because he got us the second and to a final,
Yeah.
but I don't see him. I don't see him taking us past that point. That's why I would sack him. So
Well,
yeah,
like Ricky said earlier on, he is not Ole out. He is Ole
only
doubt.
doubt.
And with that, anything else you guys like to add?
sorry, I just want to add one thing about the Conte transfer to Tottenham. Not only are they signing Conte, they're also signing the Juventus football director who worked with Conte when he was back in Juventus.
What?
Um,
Wow.
Tottenham
Okay.
making moves. Tottenham are making moves, lads.
Do you think it's all to keep
Kane.
perhaps
Harry
a
Kane.
last ditch effort to keep Kane at home?
If Kane has any,
Brain
if Kane,
cells.
yes,
I was gonna say
self-worth,
self-respect. Yeah.
self-worth, exactly, self-worth. Just leave, man. Find a way to leave. The thing is, though, it's Daniel Levy as well. He's a
Mm.
really difficult customer, man.
Yeah,
It's
that
so
is true.
hard
That
to
is
buy
true.
it's so hard to buy anyone off him. And now you're talking about Harry Bloody Kane? Yikes.
Do you think these
He's their
are
poster boy.
like this reminds me of something? Steven Gerrard to Chelsea.
Hmm.
Mm.
It's like a
Right.
very similar situation. Back then, Liverpool, looked like they were on the way down. Gerrard
Mm.
goes and hands in a transfer request.
Mm.
And however, just because of the love of the club, support, the club trying to convince him.
No, no, say it as it is. Death threats, death threats from Liverpool fans to him and his family.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Yeah. There were.
Whoa.
Liverpool fans went on a wild one.
Okay,
very passionate.
but
Passion.
but like now that Harry Kane's come out with that interview with Gary Neville, it seems as though he was very vocal. I mean, he couldn't have hit it like any better if he tried. Like he literally said, I don't know how much Daniel Levy is willing to sell me for.
Yeah.
Maybe 100 million is not enough. Maybe he'll try to sell me for 150 million if he can straight away. And Gary Neville's like, who knows? Maybe he might even go as far as 200 million. And Harry Kane's literally just like, oh man, yeah, that'd be a lot, but yeah, who knows? I'm gonna have an honest conversation with them once this is all over. Like, there's no point denying it, man. Harry Kane wants to leave. He's already been there since he was like what 16 years old. What's the point of him like, staying longer than that? Even if he goes to a Premier League club, I just want to see it. Even if it's not at United, if he goes to Chelsea or City, whatever, man, I want to see what he would be capable of achieving with a proper team. So I can see him leaving, but considering how Daniel Levy is, it'll be hard.
Yeah, I just want to add on to that. Like, if Kane does not end up leaving Tottenham this window and we see him play for Tottenham next season, I
Mm.
don't think that's going to be down to Kane. I think that's going to be down to Levy.
Daniel Levy for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I think those quotes, that 1 hour interview with Gary Neville made it extremely clear to everyone
Yeah.
that this guy does not want to stay here.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
could
for
hire
sure.
Zidane, you could buy, I don't know, Modric and Cruz, whatever. Zidane
He
can
just
bring his
wants to
whole team
leave.
from Madrid,
Just,
but no,
just,
he just
just,
wants to
just
leave at
get
this
out.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just get out. I would too. Like, there's no shame. If anything, it's for the
You've
sake of his
outgrown the
career.
team. Yeah, it shows
Exactly.
ambition. I mean, there's nothing
Yeah,
wrong with
there's
it.
nothing wrong with that. And
Especially at
if
his
anything, I
age,
respect
right?
him for
Like,
coming out. Yeah, he's
he's
27.
literally in his
At,
prime. It's his
exactly.
best years. Like, if he doesn't move now, then I don't think anyone will want
Bro,
him at 29 or 30.
this particular season when Spurs have been struggling, he was the top goal scorer and he had the highest number of assists.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have a trophy to his name? That's criminal. That's that's
We all
that's
thought he'd get like a
insane.
shot at Carabao, but
Yeah, but
not
I
even that.
mean,
And
it's just
the thing is, it's not even the top four. Not even in the
not even the
not
top
even in the
four.
Europa
Not
League.
even
It's
the,
the Conference
oh my
League, man.
God.
And they barely made it after a comeback against Leicester. Otherwise, it wouldn't even have been
Which
that.
he was
So,
very vital,
mm,
which he played a very vital role in. Like, that team is going nowhere without him. Let's face it. He needs to go. He needs to stop carrying a team on his back, and he needs to be, part of the team that, like,
that wins
delegates the
trophies.
tasks. Exactly.
Mm,
Like,
yeah.
honestly, the no-brainer is City, but whether that happens, no idea.
Just speaking about City, I just want to add that their chairman, he just said that they are willing to spend in the summer and they're not going to panic buy. They're going to buy the right player to replace Aguero as well as strengthen in other positions.
This
They're not
isn't a
gonna panic
unique. This
buy.
isn't a unique statement from like City. This is
I
literally
thought this was news. I thought this was breaking news. Give me
this is
something
literally
new,
control
please.
copy paste from 2008, and since then it's been the same statement.
You know what? Don't worry, Pep. There's nothing 150 million in the transfer market can't fix. He's gonna be fine. But we'll have a special episode for that, won't we, boys?
These guys have been
Oh,
planning a Pep Guardiola or Pep Guardiola podcast for the
my man
longest
Umar has
time,
been aching,
itching,
Oh
begging.
God,
They're
he's on his
hungry for
knees.
it, but
Please.
some parties didn't want to show up. Some parties are busy. Let's see where it goes from here. But I guess we'll wrap this up now. And thank you all for listening in. Let us know what your thoughts were on this episode. Who do you think is going to get transferred in and out of your club? And as always, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like below and also a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to keep enjoying interesting videos from the Six Take podcast on not only on summer transfers, but everything football, friends, and more. Peace out.